Hi Jim, how are you?
Connor, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
I think just talking straight away is Melia not being involved with your squad and not the under-19s with the qualifiers. What's the thinking behind that? Obviously, because you are friendlies and the
Yeah,
19s are competitive. What's the
yeah.
reasoning?
I think we brought in Mason for the last window with competitive window. When we were traveling to Italy and what have you, and he'd picked up he had a stress fracture in his back, which was unfortunate for him. Would he have played? Jay would have played competitive games, and for me, that just sort of cements that he's part of the 21s. And we need to get our preparations right, but I think the important thing is to understand our pathway, understanding our high potential players. We need to push them along the pathway. We need to support them as well when they're on the pathway, and I think that's hugely important. Mason, I was disappointed with the situation when he did pick up that knock with regards to his back, because I was excited, as the staff were too, to have him on board, because I think he's a talent with high potential, as we're all aware, and he's certainly somebody now that I'm looking forward to reconnect with, and hopefully he can reach a ceiling wherever that is as a player. But look, coming in is it's great for us as an under-21s group.
And two lads have been doing really well over the last couple of months are Jack Moorhouse and Joe Gardner, who's gone on loan to Lincoln. Are you excited to work with them and getting them involved?
Yeah. Jack's somebody now that we've been we've been after for quite a while. But look, I know he was in with Tom Owens in the 19s for a training camp, and Tom was impressed with him then, and so one thing led to another. We went after him, and he's over the moon now to be called up with the Republic of Ireland team. And Jack, went over. We've met him. We've watched him play, and he's a fella that's going to certainly be a big player with the under-21s. He's an exciting talent. He sees things. He can score goals. He's got great energy, which is what we want to be about with the under-21s. And I think his potential has been noted, at Manchester United too, because he's been training with the first team. He's been on the bench with the first team. So he's another exciting addition since November. And then you've got Joe Gardner comes in. Joe is somebody that has been on our radar for quite a while. And, I had a few conversations with Andy Reid, who's at Forest. And, he's highly regarded at Forest. He really is. And sort of, there was a couple of conversations before that with Andy, that Andy was sort of predicting that he could play with Forest first team, but Forest have been excellent this year, so obviously it became more and more difficult for Joe, so he goes out on loan, and I think he had a brief 8 minutes, and then he got a red card, but so he was suspended. I think he got 3 games for that, but he's come back, scored goals, he can play up top, and he can play out wide too, so there's extra strings to his bow, but delighted to have Joe on board. And his mom's from Dublin too, you know what I mean? So he was proud enough to tell me that. But no, can't wait to work with him.
And lastly, is it disappointing that Kevin Zefi, after not being picked, is going to go represent Albania this month?
Yeah. Well, look, I had a conversation with Kevin. To my recollection, I don't know if he can play, because there's a little bit of paperwork that has to be done for anybody to go and play for another country. You know what I mean? Like, he's our player. I spoke to Kevin. He was understanding. He hasn't played a lot of minutes with Rome's under-20 team at the minute. But my understanding is, he's he's still an under-21s player. That's his preference. And we had a long conversation about it, and also, I'm not going to say it in the room here, but I tried to help him in other areas too, and I think he was thankful for that. But look, I think Kevin has to understand that it's about the bigger picture here. We need a competitive pool of players going into this under-21s campaign, and for me, Kevin, would be part of that, because again, what he can bring, but he needs. Look, potential is one thing, but performance and form, which our club, that's the barometer at times where you're picking players, or you're drawn from how they're doing with their clubs at the minute, and Kevin needs to understand that. But as far as I'm aware, he can't represent
And
Albania in this window.
just to build on that point you about club wise, we've seen a lot of lads going to Italy and not going well in terms of going to Primavera clubs like Kevin, Justin, Sen and Mullen now, even like they're just staying in academy football. No one seems to really be breaking through into a first team environment. Is that something you're wary of lads going to Italy?
Look, it's a challenge. Ed McJanna, he's over at Lecce, and he's gone on loan to a team in Serie C, and it's been unfortunate for Ed, because he's gone to a team that's winning the league at the minute, so it's going to be very hard for him to break into that. But I think Ed will come good when he does get a run. He won't let you down, because the player and the man he is. I've seen Senan Mullen. He's doing very well at Torino. Look, he's made the bench. It's somebody that we'll monitor, but all we can do is keep monitoring the players. And it's first and foremost, you just have to be playing every week and performing well every week, to be considered. But there's players who are exceptionally close to getting selected that it didn't happen for them, and they are playing in Italy. So, that's basically all we can do, is just assess how they're getting on at their clubs.
Right, thanks, Jim.
No problem.
Can I just clarify that? Has an application gone in on the FBI?
No. So, again, not that I'm aware of,
Sure.
and I'm sure I would have been approached, but no.
Yeah.
So the last conversation I had with Kevin, it's they're always difficult conversations you have with players when they're being left out, and but Kevin, he was understanding of the situation, but there was certainly mentioned. We were talking about, June campaign starts in September, so that's where our conversation was mainly about.
And just one other point regarding that, Jim. Sorry, this call of the example. Was that your phone call? Kind of computer.
Sorry?
This call of the Zefi has got to the Albanian.
No.
Did you discuss that?
No. This was beforehand. So look, that could be. Look, you know what social media is like now. I don't know. Has there been an official call up, or is it just?
He's been called up multiple times over the last year or two. It's just he hasn't accepted any of them before.
Yeah. So there's a process. It's just not a call up and you leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's the conversation we had, is why he wasn't with our 21s. And use it as a bit of fuel to get yourself going, and see it as a challenge to get back into the squad. I think he just has to play first. Like he's playing. Over the last number of weeks, he's come off after an hour. Let's say he's come on for 15 minutes, and like he's 20 years old now. So, but you can never close the door on anybody. Particularly Kevin with Kevin's ability, but our 21s we based around high energy levels, high fitness levels, and if you want to kick on to the next phase of their development, that's what he needs.
Is it clarification friendly? Is it still needed? Friendly?
As far as I'm aware, yeah. you need sort of paperwork with regards to change of association. So somebody plays with the 21s in one window and then goes and plays with a friendly in another window. But that's what I've been led to believe, that he can't. So there's been no approach made that I'm aware of from the Albanian Association. And that's training or playing a game. So he can't even go into an Albanian camp and train.
You wait to monitor these things, like even though they're friendly or friendly.
Essentially, because Kevin's played for us competitively at under 17s and 19s, our understanding is because he's played competitively, for him to play for another association, he would have to require a transfer of association. As of now, that's not gone in. So, regardless if it's a non-competitive game, can't play for him. That's our understanding as of now. Any other questions? No.
Yeah. And just that he doesn't have an Albanian passport yet, so would you say it's impossible, even if he wanted to transfer for this month anyway, that would never come true?
Yeah, look, all I know is that the conversation we had, and that's all I can say, is that Albania wasn't mentioned, and he was open to up-and-coming camps.
Yeah.
So
is Sam Curtis injured, or what is the situation?
No, Sam's fine.
Just left out, is he?
Yeah, look, he's been left out of this one where it gives us an opportunity to look at other players, possibly certain positions. And again, for me, the reason behind it is making sure we have a competitive pool going forward as an under-21s group.
Okay.
No section this is in.
Anyway, it's very fluid at the moment.
I haven't seen obviously signed a new contract here. Or with them.
Yeah.
Just on that, did you have to consider, or did you think about it? Like you mentioned the League of Ireland there, jobs, the full-time jobs in the League of Ireland.
No. Look, I'm in a privileged position working with the 21s, and I love working here. I love working with the staff, the players, and no, there was nothing for me to think about. It was all sort of T's to be crossed and I's to be dotted, really. You know what I mean? So that was that, and I was more than happy to sign the contract, because look, I'm excited working with the players and helping those players on this pathway that we were talking about to get into the senior team. And look, I didn't know until sort of latest that James Banquet was called up, and look, I knew that the lads were monitoring his progress and we spoke about it, but I was over the moon. That James has been called up, and for me, that's what the 21s is about. They're the good news stories where you've got players who played, huge parts in the campaign to go and hopefully get a senior international cap now.
And is the motivation qualifying?
It's always there.
Where does that compare to?
Yeah, look, for me.
Graduates.
Yeah, look, for me to qualify, I want to qualify. Look, it's everybody in the room here, we've all played, and no matter what level you want to win. So yeah, of course, and it's something that we spelled out with the last group. Yeah, we want to qualify. We're not here to make up numbers. We want to be competitive, and yes, we want to qualify. And it's something that I've always said, that the ultimate experience for these players, under 21s players, is to get into a final. And yeah, am I disappointed we didn't qualify? Yeah, it hurt. It absolutely hurt. It was a gut wrenching feeling when I found out that we didn't qualify, because what was going on in the other game. In Italy, I thought it was a fantastic performance. To go there at any level and to have Italy on the back foot, which what we did, was outstanding. But to find out you didn't qualify, you're probably seeing it. There was tears on the pitch from certain players, because they all wanted to qualify. and some things don't go for you, whether it's referee decisions or there's injuries to certain key players at key moments. You sort of, with a country like ours, we probably need a perfect storm where everything is right, for every international window to go and qualify. And this campaign coming up, of course I want to qualify. Of course I do. Do I believe we can with the group of players we have? Yeah, I do. England are probably favourites for the group. But let them. What we'll do is we'll make sure that we're ready when we come up against England, Moldova, Kazakhstan, because each game is as important as the other one. So looking forward to it. Still building, our squad. That's why we've got a few new names in to see, okay, what are they like in and around camp? What are they like playing against the likes of Scotland and Hungary? So building a player pool that we need to draw from at certain stages of the campaign.